I think it's been a bit up and down really. It's been steady without being spectacular. Obviously we've got the rumblings about the manager coming from across the road, and you're always going to be on the back foot after that happening with the Birmingham public. But I think the only way the manager can win over the fans is to get wins, and that's what the fans want. But they want us to win entertaining as well, which sometimes you can't have. But I think to initially start winning is the main thing, and then the confidence oozes through the team, and then you can kick on from there.
How do you think he's handled the transition, Alex McLeish, from the blue part of Birmingham to the claret and blue part?
I think he's handled it quite well, to be honest. I think it's never ever going to be an easy move. I think we all knew that, and there was total shock when it did happen. But I think for Alex McLeish, it's a great move for him, and he's admitted that as well. I've spoken to him personally, and he said it was a job that he just couldn't refuse at the time. So for him, it's a great step up. Obviously his hands have been tied a little bit with the squad and with the lack of funds, which is always going to make it that little bit much harder. But I think from the fans' point of view, they just want to see a team that's given its all and commitment and wearing the shirt with pride.
Do you think a lot of the fans have now taken to him? Have they accepted him? Do they see him now as a villain rather than the former Birmingham manager?
I don't think he'll ever get past the fact that he's a former Birmingham manager. I think a lot of fans, fans are called fickle for a reason, and 1 week they can be calling your name, and the next week they can be lambasting you, and you hope that a high percentage of those fans stay with you and are positive around you. And it's always when results are going against you that fans will go the other way. So and like I say, with the manager coming from Birmingham and everything, it takes that little bit less time for the fans to turn. So I think the biggest thing for us is to win football matches, and that's the only way you can win the fans over.
We've seen in the last week or so Darren Bent making the headlines for the wrong reasons. What's your take on that? Was he slightly naive to go Christmas shopping during a Villa match?
I think so. I think if you ask Darren again, would you do the same thing again? He'd probably say, well, no, I wouldn't. But that's the day that we live in, the age that we live in. That mobile phones and Twitter and everything, you can't go anywhere without being seen. So, it's a lesson learned for Darren. I think, like I said, I don't think he'd do it again. I think the days are gone where players or all players who aren't involved in the team will go and watch the football match. Because I just think it's a different era these days, and players don't have the urge to do that.
He must be cursing his luck with social networking websites. It's not the first time, is it?
Well, I think if you're on it, you put yourself up there to be shot at, don't you? So, Darren's been on it for a while, and I think in his head he was doing something that was totally innocent, but to others, with what's happening now to the football club, it wouldn't have gone down well. So next time I think he'd do something differently.
Next game is of course Stoke. What are your thoughts on Stoke this season? They had a bit of a slow start, but they're now really pushing for a place in the top half as we go into the new year.
Yeah, Stoke, I admire Stoke for what they've done, because they got promoted and they've built and built and built every season. They've spent a little bit more every season and added that little bit more quality. They've got some decent players there now. I think sometimes they're tagged with the long ball game and the long throws and everything a bit harshly, because it's the way they play, and they get results from doing it as well. So I think people are just a bit miffed because they actually get results doing it. But Tony Pulis got his way of playing, and they're pretty successful doing it. And I admire the way they've approached the Premier League.
Tell us about yourself. How are things? You're still here now at Villa, aren't you, working as an ambassador? How's that going? Yeah,
it's going really well. I've got a table of corporates upstairs that you've rushed me away from. But no, it's good because I've got my own business as well, which is dealing with corporates as well. So it's sort of, they overlap, which is great. So, but I really enjoy it. I enjoy the commercial side of things. So it's really good.
And you're always pretty vocal on a certain social networking website when it comes to the Villa.
Yeah, because in this day and age, I think the fans feel pretty detached from players, and I do think that's the good thing about Twitter, is that players can interact with the fans, but you have to do it in the right way. and as long as you do it in the right way, it's brilliant because the fans feel connected. Because I think it's that much harder these days to feel part and parcel of the football club. So yeah, it's good. I enjoy it.